welcome to the first lecture on period 4. This lecture will just be an introduction to this period and what we're sort of looking at. And it's from 1800 until 1848, and it's commonly known as the antebellum period. Antebellum is Latin for before the war. Ante meaning before, bellum meaning war, like belligerent, bellicose, similar words with the same root. And so this period, it's about rapid changes. The country is going to grow rapidly. We'll have a look at the changes in the map in a moment. And major economic changes as the Industrial Revolution takes hold, and this leads to other revolutions as well. And in the South, we now have the expansion of that agriculture economy with cotton. This is when cotton really takes off, and with the cotton taking off, the slave industry really expands as well. And it's an internal slave industry as the importation of new slaves is made illegal by Thomas Jefferson in 1808, but through natural reproduction and some smuggling, the population of slaves is going to rapidly increase. Now, up in the north, especially in the northeast, that's where you really get the Industrial Revolution taking hold after 1800, and along with the transportation revolution, the ability to produce goods faster, move goods easier, leads to a market revolution, a change in the way that people buy and sell their goods. The market rapidly grew. Like, it's not just a local market, it becomes much more of a regional market, and in time it'll become a national and then international market for whatever it is that you produce, and you're producing it better. So territorial changes, if we look at what the United States map looks like when Thomas Jefferson took office, we can see that they are sort of beginning to expand west. Kentucky and Tennessee have joined the Union. They joined during the Washington administration, and we can see why. This border here, that's the Ohio River, so we get American settlers moving into this territory down the river, taking claim to some of the good river valley land. And then same here in Tennessee. They're going down the Tennessee River, which is this line here marking the border between North Carolina and Tennessee. And their frontier, they're sort of cut off from what's going on in the east. They're on their own, and they are facing hostility from natives, particularly ones moving up into this region up here along the sort of the Great Lakes areas here in the Northwest Territory, which still doesn't have yet the population to be admitted into the Union. Once a territory reaches a certain population, around 5,000, then they can apply to the national government for statehood, and then if that's approved, then they join into the Union. Now we skip ahead to 1848, right on sort of the transition into period 5, which is all about the Civil War. We can see they've rapidly expanded. This area here is no longer like frontier area. Frontier's now been pushed out over into this area. Texas has been annexed from Mexico, which is now an independent country. If you go back, this is Spain, this is France. Well, now it's Mexico. 1820s, much of Spanish Empire and Mexico and South America became independent. And the Americans, they sort of took Texas, and that's going to lead to war with Mexico, which is going to lead to all the problems of the Civil War. So rapid expansion. And then, we just take it one step further, not that far ahead to May. Now they've grabbed this territory as well, and that's going to be a major turning point into the period 5. Now, if you look at some of the demographic changes, just population growth, and this is showing the population in the United States from its beginning up to close to the present day, and the different regions, northeast, south, midwest, midwest meaning around the Great Lakes area, and west, the Great Plains and the Rocky Mountains and the Pacific Coast. The West doesn't really come into existence until the 1890s, but here the Midwest is starting to come to the forefront. And we look at sort of 1850, it looks small, but the West is a little under a third, and then the South and the North. So really becoming regionalized, the country. That's a major change that's happening during this period, that the 3 regions emerge, the South, the West, and the Northeast. And each is going to have their own sort of economic system. And for national leaders, they were looking for ways to integrate and unite the three economic regions out of self-interest and to sort of tie the union together. There's a fear that, because of three different regions, that they would grow apart. So they're looking for ways to bring them together in this way. Now, we just sort of zoom in on the time period. We're looking at 1800 to sort of 1850. We can see, here you can see it's a little bit, the population growth is much more rapid. And beginning in the 1840s, you get the first wave of immigrants coming in from Ireland and from Germany in particular. So that's period 4. They're expanding rapidly. They're regionalizing, especially a north-south, but the west coming in as well. And the population is growing fast, and there's major changes into the economy. And there's going to be major sort of social changes as well. And we're going to see like a very strong reform movement, of trying to improve society. We're going to get a second religious awakening occurring. And we're going to get the emergence of a feminist movement, which is really where period 4 comes to an end, a pinnacle movement in the women's rights movement known as the Seneca Falls Convention. And we'll get there when we get there. So that's period 4. All right, thank you very much.